Dear Glenjamin, as I write this, you probably already know that I am on my way to you. Nothing can stop me talking about movies with you. Every day I think about how you don't watch enough movies. It makes me laugh just thinking about how angry it makes me. All I know is I will be with you soon, and when I am, I will lean in and whisper in your ear. The following podcast contains spoilers for Ain't Them Body Saints. You have been warned.
Dear Miguel Magusto, I am sorry to tell you that I love you. And it's been so long since we last spoke to each other, but I couldn't go another day without letting you know. I did not watch too many movies. I'm sorry.
I figured.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glen, along with your host, Miguel Magusto, as you heard. Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, Michael.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, peachy dandy. You know how it is. It's, I'm boring. I'm sorry.
You are boring, yeah.
I am just the most terrible person in the world. I don't even know why I'm on this thing. But regardless of said thing, it was kind of an exciting weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The Oscars happened.
Yes, they did.
And
yes.
although I didn't watch them, I saw who won and how many times some things won.
Yes.
And dear God, that makes my bridges my bridges get timbered. You know, my shivers. The shivers are timbered.
Yes. Yes, compared to last year, this Oscars was so goddamn wholesome.
Yeah, they had to kind of reel it back from last year and go, like, we need to fucking be good.
No one even like cursed or anything. It was just like people talking about how great everyone was. Everyone that won seemed to really appreciate it. You know, you had Ke Huy Quan won for supporting actor, Jamie Lee Curtis, supporting actress, Brendan Fraser for Best actor, Michelle Yeoh, Best Actress. Then the Daniels. The Daniels won for Best Original Screenplay, Best Directing, and of course Best Picture, which they also won with their producer Jonathan Wong. I believe it's Wong. But it was just fun. It was a good time. I felt like Ke Huy Quan was speaking directly to me during his speech. It broke me.
Yeah,
but very wholesome, and also All Quiet on the Western Front won a bunch too for in a national feature.
Yeah, definitely a bunch of deserved things that went down, and you know, made me cry. Michelle Yeoh's speech made me cry. Keys made me cry a little bit. Brendan's cried. God damn it! I was a big baby when I woke up this morning looking at everybody's fucking speeches. I was like,
yeah. The thing that shocked me the most is when All Quiet on the Western Front won international feature. They had the two main actors in it who played Paul and Katz. Felix Kammerer, who played Paul, and then Albrecht Schuch, who played Katz. And it was Felix Kammerer's first movie, and he's the lead. And god damn it, does he fucking roll that movie. It's his first movie ever.
Dear Lord.
And he fucking killed it.
He did.
God damn.
Killed a lot of things.
But yeah, compared to last year, you know, with the slap and everything, this was so wholesome and much needed. Yeah, probably the best Oscars, at least since 2019 when Parasite won a lot.
Yeah,
definitely the last time they got everything or as much right as possible for that. So yeah,
the only one that for me was questionable. I'm not saying that she didn't deserve it, but there was a few like others that I think could have gotten it. Jamie Lee Curtis winning. I feel like either Stephanie should have won or Angela Bassett. Yeah. In my opinion, probably should have got it.
Even Carrie Condon, but that one was a You've Been Here So Long award, and also the movies you pick, you'll probably never be here again.
All those noms, honestly, any one of those could have won, and I wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah,
like I'm not even upset that Jamie won, but I just feel like there was other performances out of that bunch that were just a cusp better.
Definitely,
but still, I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, that was the Oscars. It was a good time for that. But did you watch any movies?
So I finished Tar. Excellent movie. Kate Blanchett might be up for a goddamn Stony. Who knows? Well, she probably is for sure, but will she win it? Who knows? And then we watched Scream 6, which we have our opinions about there. That is up on the YouTube, though. And then, of course, I watched Ain't Them Body Saints, which we shall get into in just a moment.
I can't believe you watched another movie we watched together. You've got 65.
You know what? I got so fucking tired through that I honestly, I forgot about it.
I figured as much.
And also, I always forget to rate them, so this is why I am the way that I am.
It is the way that you are.
But yes, that is also up there.
There are whispers that the Academy still has a bunch to watch before we do the Stonies. It may just end up being only 2 more before we do the Stonies. They're very dedicated, half of the
they just really want to watch every single one. They got to try.
Pieces of shit.
Absolutely.
But I had a relatively light week for me, of course, that I finished that German series Dark I was talking about last time, finished it up. Really solid, really great series, and highly recommend that to anyone that has Netflix. Really solid. Very confusing at times, but it kind of wraps it up in a nice, neat bow.
Okay.
And yeah, phenomenal. So yeah, I watched Scream 6, which of course we have a review for. 65, which is the Adam Driver time travel movie. We will probably have a review for that. I'm planning on editing it soon, but if my baby child keeps sleeping the way that he's been sleeping,
being a silly freaking goose.
Yeah, silly goose. It might be some problems. So yeah, probably by the time this is up, that review will be up. Then I watched Ain't Them Body Saints. We'll get into that in a minute. Then for the final movie that Caitlin had to watch for the Best Picture showcase we were throwing for ourselves, All Quiet on the Western Front. 4th time watching it for me. Still such a goddamn good movie.
I bet.
So good. And then finally, the last thing I watched was another rewatch after the Daniels won so much. I commented how I shared the link for this movie and said that 3-time Academy Award-winning writer, director, producers, the Daniels, made this, and that 3-time Academy Award winner, writer, producer, director, Daniel Scheinert gets stuck in the ass of 3-time Academy Award winner, writer, producer, director, Daniel Kwan. So that was interesting, ball.
Yeah.
No one liked that. That to me is just bonkers that movie is them. I watched that when Swiss Army Man came out in 2016, 7 years ago.
Yep.
If you told me that they were going to be 3-time Academy Award winning writer, producer, directors, I would have been like, I fucking wish.
Gasp. There's no way.
So I'm just so happy for them. It's such a great thing going on for them. They also, of course, did the music video for Turn Down for What, which you can see 3-time Academy Award-winning writer, director, producer, gyrating in the air, Daniel Kwan, of course. So it's fantastic. That interesting ball. Rewatched it. Probably the 10th time I've rewatched it. Honestly, it's so good. So if you haven't seen it, check that out. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into Ain't Them Body Saints.
Dear Ruth, I dreamed about you again last night. I hold your face in my mind. I think about your hair getting longer. I think about your belly getting bigger. I think about our baby girl.
I shot someone. I think I shot someone.
It's gonna be okay. All you gotta do is wait for me.
I'm confused, Ruth. I don't know why you kids did what you did. What do you want to do now?
I'm gonna wait for him.
It's gonna be all over the news later. Thought best you hear this from a friend.
Hear what?
I know you know I'm out, and I hope you know I'm coming for you. Just like I always said.
I'm putting into all this right now all by myself. All I'd have to do is tell the truth.
Whatever it is you've done, when I see you with your daughter, all I see is good.
Maybe I'm just fooling you.
People talk about regret, but I haven't got any. I traveled high and far, and now I'm close. I'm so close to you, I can almost reach out and touch your cheek.
The tale of an outlaw who escapes from prison and sets out across the Texas hills to reunite with his wife and the daughter he has never met. Written and directed by David Lowery, it's starring Rooney Mara, Casey Affleck, Ben Foster, and Nate Parker. Other people are in there that you would probably recognize. Rami Malek is in there.
That's probably big surprise on my end.
Of course, that was like before. This was in 2013, so it was like well before he became a big name. I had watched this originally. Probably 2014 whenever the Blu-ray came out. I bought the Blu-ray without seeing it and then watched it. Mainly because the song in the trailer is so goddamn good. Because back then I had disposable income enough to be like, hey, I like that song. Let me watch this movie.
It feels good.
Yeah, no, I don't have that anymore because I'm not a child.
Yeah,
I wasn't technically a child then, but I was in my early 20s. Yeah, so I didn't remember too much about it, except for a few things, and so I wanted to rewatch it, put it on my list, and you happened to pick it last week.
Yeah, with my little number game.
Yeah, so since I didn't really remember too much of it, I'm going to kind of give my thoughts. I remember one of the things I remember most the first time I watched it. I was really tired when I watched it, and I knew I was really tired when I watched it, so I always wanted to give it another chance.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was boring when I first watched it.
Oh.
But I knew it was because I was tired. You know, things seem more boring.
Not because of the lovey-dovey that happens right in the beginning?
No, not. I mean, like, you throw violence into a romance movie, I automatically forget it's a romance movie. That's how easy it is to manipulate me into liking a romantic film.
Yeah.
I was really wanted to rewatch this and just put it on the back burner, and finally got around to it. And this time around, I really, really liked it. I think it's still got some pacing issues that I felt when I was tired. But it is a phenomenal, I believe it's his first feature from David Lowery, who of course did A Ghost Story, that's editor. He did a Pete's Dragon. He's doing the new Peter Pan and Wendy movie, Green Knight, of course. But this was his first. He
did a lot of shorts. Oh, those are edits. My bad.
It looks like this was his first feature, or at least very first, like, big feature. Okay, so he had another one that, looks like a very independent movie. Not that that's nothing, but this is like his first.
Saint Nick.
Yeah, this is like his first big-ish movie with well-known people. So, just to capture the romance the way that he did and have this beautiful cinematography and everything, I think he did a phenomenal job for a first feature. It's not my favorite of his films, but, like, I see where the talent was there, and he was still developing it and everything. So I'm really glad I got to rewatch it because I really enjoyed it this time around.
Yeah, I think what got me right from the get-go was the soundtrack.
Yeah, it made me buy the Blu-ray.
And holy shit, because right in the beginning they do this little clapping number. I'm just like, I'm fucking sad sob stories going on. Not really sob, but it's a little sad story going on. This guy's getting fucking locked up for stealing money and shit, and then all you hear is like,
yeah.
I'm like, ooh! I was dancing in my chair.
That's the song in the trailer too. That song is called Ruth and Sylvie. I believe the composer is. Oh God, why did I even start when I didn't have it up? But he's done the other films by David Lowery. Oh, Daniel Hart.
I don't know.
Daniel Hart, he did a Ghost Story and Green Knight, and I think The Old Man and the Gun too.
Yeah, that really kind of grabbed me from the get-go. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have that kind of score going on, little soundtrack. Oh, we're gonna feel mighty good. And that was really cool. The whole opening, kind of setting up the characters and all that, was solid. And then after that is where, probably when you were getting your sleepy, is when it did change pace and it kind of took a little slow turn. Yeah. So you had this nice little clappity in your ears, and then it kind of drove me away just a little bit. Not enough to like obviously hate the film. The film is great in every sense, but I think as you were saying, as far as like the pacing issues, is where it's really the only flaw with the movie, and it feels for some reason bigger in my opinion than I'm meaning it to sound.
Yeah, it's really just like a nitpick when it comes down to it. David Lowery always has slowly paced films. You and I talked about this many times on the podcast and on our channel. When we first saw A Ghost Story at the Colonial Theater in Phoenixville, we were like 5 minutes away from walking out. And then, of course, everyone knows the infamous pie scene where Rooney Mara eats a pie in one take. It's like 7.5 minute long shot. After that happens, it picks up, and then it makes sense why the pacing was so slow in the beginning, because it's really trying to make you feel this time that once the main character is dead and a ghost, that's how he's feeling this time. It's not cut up like we're seeing it. He's feeling it in real time. So it's a brilliant and very risky choice at the beginning. Yeah. Because, you and I, who rarely walk out of movies, I've only done it once. I don't know if you've done it at all.
I've done it, I think, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, I only did it for Ted 2. Ted 2. But that was mainly because there was very annoying drunk people in there, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
They're annoying me. They're enjoying this more than I am. I'm not going to ask them to be quiet. I'll just leave.
Funny. One of them is Jungle Cruise, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Not because it was a genuinely really, really bad movie. I was just tired of seeing.
No, I gotcha.
Of just, them bickering back and forth. I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this. And
it gets repetitive after a while. Yeah.
So I just have sex already, dear God. And then I left. I yelled that out loud in the theater.
the 6-year-old next to you was like, "Mommy, what's sex?
What is that?"
No, but he, he's known for slow pacing, especially in his non-studio films. He's always been this director that I admire that does like one for me, one for you. He does like he did this, and then he did Pete's Dragon, then he did A Ghost Story, then. While not quite the same, he did The Old Man and the Gun, which is a little bit more of a big budget than The Green Knight. The Green Knight's another one that's kind of and then now he's following it up with Peter Pan. So he's always, you could tell his mindset is, I want to tell the stories I want to tell, but I also understand that you have to play the game in order to get the stories you want to tell made. Yeah. So I've always admired that. He's not one of these directors that, and I hate to say this, but as much as I love Taika Waititi, makes like 3 or 4 independent films, gets picked up by Marvel and Star Wars, and does primarily that, with the exception of Jojo Rabbit, for the foreseeable future. Although I think he has one coming out. But anyway, so he's always just had a style that I've liked, where it's these slow burn movies. If random street theaters listening here on YouTube, he always talks about how I like slow burns, because I do. I love slow burns, and this is no exception. It's not good to watch it when I'm a sleepy boy, but
yeah, I think what I'm going to say is that if there was something else going on during him coming back from prison, and he's kind of just he's coming back from prison, he's trying to cover up his tracks and just get to his family and all this, but there's like this little subplot where there's people trying to get to him. I guess what were they after him for? Did they just steal money from the people that were hiring them or something?
There's 2 things that they purposefully are vague about it.
Yeah.
I read it as he owed them money.
Okay.
And they knew he had money from robbing a bank.
Yeah.
Because I don't think if he robbed gangsters that the police would have chased them.
Yeah.
So. But that's how I took it.
There was this subplot where they were super vague about why they were chasing him. You knew why, like money, but like you didn't know the whole reason why. They didn't give it to you, but they had that subplot. And because they didn't outright tell you what they're actually hunting him down for, or like who he crossed or something like that, it's kind of like in the back burner, and it doesn't feel right with what's going on. Mm-hmm. But like if there was something more meaningful there, that pacing would have been like, it felt a little more padded and not like it was like slow to me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And what's crazy is that it's only an hour and 36 minutes. It didn't feel like it was a long movie because of the pacing, but it just kind of, it was like a lull. It was like,
Yeah.
like it still went quick, but it was just like,
Yeah. I think certain parts are really well paced. Like the last 20, 30 minutes goes by really fast.
really fast. Yeah.
But then like the middle 30 minutes is a little bit slow. First 30 minutes fast, middle 30 minutes slow, last 30 minutes fast. So yeah, I definitely get that if it was a little less vague, there would have been more there to kind of make it a little more interesting.
Yeah.
But I also think that was done on purpose because like anytime someone talks to Casey Affleck's character, he's always like creating these extravagant stories. You can tell that he has this fantasy of becoming like an outlaw, like Jesse James or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he probably got this role, because he's in the Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. So when he creates this very fanciful story about just walking out the jail. And that's how he broke out. And then Nate Parker's character was just like, the news said you jumped off a work truck, which is a lot less cool than what he was saying.
Yeah.
So the entire time he's trying to build these fanciful stories to kind of build himself as a legend, and it all culminates, him continuing to build these stories at the end when Rami Malek he kind of makes Rami Malek drive him at gunpoint, and he's shot, he's dying, and it's kind of sad in a way because he's saying, "Oh, you can tell your dad that you picked me up."
He's like,
that's a
make
cool
sure
story.
you tell your dad who held you at gunpoint.
And then Rami Malek was just like, "Who are you?
Who are you?"
And that you could just see that it like destroyed this idea that he had, that he was creating this legacy that will be told, and that his death ultimately wouldn't matter because his name would be passed on. And it's just so heartbreaking in a way, even though he did all these really stupid things to put himself in this situation.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking in a way that he thought he was this big hot shit outlaw, and he's not even a blip on the radar of the majority of people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really awesome idea and character trait for David Lowery to write him, because it added this level of heartbreak that when you see him just dying on the floor of I think it's his daughter's bedroom, if not it's Rooney Mara's bedroom.
Yeah.
That it makes you feel for him, even though he did all these stupid things and all that. And, you want him to live, but no, he's not going to. But at the same time, Ben Foster, who is the most underrated actor there probably is in the world, he is such a good man in this that you're like, it's probably the one romance film where like there's a third love interest where you're not saying, don't go with him. You're probably, like most people, especially me, I was just like, Ben Foster's the dude for you. Like Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
I get you love Casey Affleck. I understand why you want to keep him in your life, but with your daughter around, you cannot stay with him.
It's not a life you want for her to be raised in. And also,
Ben Foster was swooning me. He was sweeping me off my feet.
That mustache was really making it for him.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn.
But yeah, he's an underappreciated actor.
But they even had dialogue between themselves where it was just straight up like, listen, I know what you did. I know what happened. I know he's like your guy and all that. But, if none of that was there, I think you and me, we'd be boogieing. You know what I'm saying? I think he said that verbatim.
Did he say boogie?
He did say, I think you and me will boogie. And I said, wow, this is groundbreaking information. But no, it was like really just touching this like this kind of middle ground that she's stuck in with wanting to run away with Casey, but then and then Ben Foster's like, mustache time, boogie.
To the point, like, she knows that she has to think about it, so she writes Casey Affleck's character a letter saying, don't come find me. And then in it says, yet. But, like, you can tell that she's leaning more, I don't want you in our life anymore. But, like, it's never like I hate you thing. It's just, it's honestly something that I really didn't appreciate until I was a parent. I always hated this before I was a parent. People are like, oh, your priorities change when you're a parent. But they really do.
I mean, you've got a whole being to take like care of and all this now.
If I remember correctly, I don't want to say I full on hated the fact that Ben Foster was like trying to pick her up with the first time I watched it, and this was 10 years ago, so I definitely didn't have a kid.
Yeah.
But like I was like, man, I get it, but you and Casey Affleck have something going on, and now 10 years later, I have a kid, and I'm just like, you cannot be with Casey Affleck. I don't care. I don't care. You got to do what's right for Sylvie.
You go get that mustache, man.
Yeah, you get that mustache. He swooned me, a 33-year-old man with a beard.
With a beard.
But yeah, I think it's just an absolutely beautiful film, both cinematography, story-wise, and everything. I don't even care that's a romance film. I don't give a shit.
Who needs to know about that?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a solid movie. There's not terribly a lot that I have to talk about.
Yeah.
I guess because of the pacing and what the content of it is, but it kind of just all explains for itself, you know.
Yeah,
really don't have to really talk too much about it.
Yeah. The last thing I will say before we move on to the judgment is this movie inspired the shit out of me. I've been writing a script since probably December. I want to say, and have been stuck on a part for the past 3 weeks where I haven't really moved forward at all.
Yeah.
Watch this movie. Fucking timelined the rest of my movie.
There you go.
I haven't written it, but like I know exactly scene for scene what's going to happen the rest of the film, and that was the part I was stuck on. Like I knew how I wanted it to end, but there was like a middle 45 minutes that I had no idea what to do with. And watching this, it just came flowing out of me.
That's awesome.
And it's magical. And that's only the last time that happened was when I watched the movie Prospect, the Pedro Pascal movie. So it's been a long time since that happened, where like I watched a movie and then just writing came flowing out of me. So, you know, fucking woo for that.
A big woo.
A big woo. But yeah, you know, David Lowery has a way of inspiring me like that. I absolutely love his work. And as much as I hate Disney, I'm excited for Peter Pan and Wendy.
Yeah. He is a goddamn body saint.
Yes, he is. But
also, this title always fucks me up because I don't... I always am like, ain't them body saints? Ain't them bodies? And then bodies feels weird, and then saints being plural. Both of them are plural, and it fucks me up. They're like, what movie you're seeing? Ain't them bodies saints?
yeah,
That feels so weird saying out loud.
they're from Texas.
Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that does it for our review for Ain't Them Body Saints. That brings us to the judgment. As always, it needs to be a unanimous decision whether or not it goes on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. This was my pick, so I get to go first. You know, if you asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have been like, it's good, but I'm going to say no ultimately. But then I rewatched it and loved it, and writing came out of me. Embarrassing how much writing came out of me. It's like, man, you ever just shit your pants in kindergarten and you're just like,
Just
oh man.
did.
Yeah.
In kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. Well, now too. It's just as bad now. Probably worse now because you're not a child. But anyway,
Where am I?
this is off the rails. But yeah, I say just for the inspiration to Game Me Alone, I would say absolutely goes on the shelf. But I understand it's not a movie for everybody because of the pacing issues in the middle. But I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for the most part, the soundtrack hit me like real quick, and for the most part, the movie's good. But like, I don't know. I just don't think it's on the cusp of making it to the shelf for me.
Okay.
Sadly, I think it's solid, but just not enough to put on that bad boy.
I understand wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I probably would have said the same thing had it not inspired me to write.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful film. Highly suggest people check it out, even though it does not go on the KFR shelf with the likes of Apostle and Handmaiden. So that does it for Ain't Them Body Saints. That brings us to our assignment for next week. Glenn, Jumpman, Button.
Whoa, it's me.
It is your week to pick what movie we're watching.
And by that,
what are we watching?
I had Mike select a number between 1 through 11. I had 11 movies lined up because I didn't know what I specifically wanted to watch.
You're stealing my idea.
Yes, it's true. It had been a while since I updated kind of my my watch list on all the sites, all the services. So I quickly went through all of them, updated it a little bit, and then I went through and I kind of just picked out. I had one ready, and then I was like, let me look at the lists again, and then I divvied them all out and you got to pick technically which one. So you picked 9 out of 11, which in my head saying that out loud should not have been as weird as that was. But you went with the movie The Rental from 2020, rated R. Two couples rent a vacation home for what should be a celebratory weekend getaway. Directed and written by Dave Franco. Also written by Joe Swanberg and Mike Dembski. It stars Dan Stevens, Allison Brie, Sheila Van, Jeremy Allen White, our boy, and Toby Huss. Everybody else is kind of like background characters, it seems.
Anthony Molinari is the cop that gets blown into confetti and everything everywhere all at once.
What a perfect man he is.
Yes.
But yeah, so this kind of popped up in my Netflix feed, and I was like, oh yeah, why not? Fucking, I love Allison Brie. She's great. And this is going to be on Netflix, like I said. It is also on AMC for subs, DirecTV for subs, and other places to rent. But mostly, if you got Netflix, you got this bad boy.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
Charlie! Tell me that's not a camera.
Get through the night. We leave first thing in the morning.
What's going on?
I don't know.
This will be over soon, I promise.
This will never be over.
Look, this is not okay, Charlie, all right? Stop being so calm. Everything is fine.
Yes.
So yeah, this is gonna be the movie we're gonna watch.
Yeah,
I'm mainly excited because Jeremy Allen White. Once I saw he was in this, I'm like, holy shit, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I also love Dan Stevens, of course, friend of the podcast, Apostle, the movie that I talk about every week. He's in that. Allison Brie, of course. Everyone in it so far, I dig. Also, Dave Franco directing. That's cool.
Yeah. And that guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, he is. So The Rental is our assignment for next week. Thank you, everyone, for listening. As always, you can check out our website at www.keystonefilmreview.com. On Instagram, we're Keystone_film_review. Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I'm Glen KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we rent a nice little house on the beach or on the cliff or on the water.
Oh, so magical.
And maybe fall upwards, it looks like.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? It's true. I don't know the rest of the words. I just know the melody goes like this. That's from West Side Story. I don't know why.
I was just humming randomly.
But yeah, sorry for that, everyone. But also, you're welcome because I have a voice of velvet.
Like a little baby angel.
Yes. Goodbye.